Okay, welcome back, creatures of the night, as we continue on with the Gimmick Match watch-alongs, as we do each and every month, a staple of the podcast here monthly with my good friend from Twitter, Randy Turco, as I wouldn't be doing this with anybody else but you, Randy, as I thank you for showing up for another month of these. You have not tapped out yet. We have continued to show up monthly for these, and this today for the month of November, we've got a good one. Before we get into that, how's everything going? How have you been? And it feels like just yesterday we recorded the Halloween one with Alex.
Right. You might have noticed I usually tweet about the episode a little bit after you tweet about the episode. I let it breathe. I let it breathe for a couple days and then I tweet about it.
Like a
And
fine wine, you just let it
right.
breathe.
Yeah. And I let it go for it was like 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm like, I haven't even tweeted about this episode yet because that's just the way life's been lately. So
You don't have to
time
tell
is
me twice.
flying.
I know.
Yeah, you factor in the holidays. I mean, by the way, this is the Thanksgiving Eve tradition. It's a new tradition, but it's now the Thanksgiving Eve tradition that we record this on Thanksgiving Eve in November. So we'll have to, this old school Survivor series, right?
A year from now, we'll be still doing it because you
Yes.
got to get through Hell in the Cells, got to get through Buried Alive, casket matches. So a year from now, we'll probably next year's Survivor Series time, we'll probably be getting into like the Undertaker Survivor Series matches. So
Right.
his dark side team and everything else he's done around Survivor Series time. But the one we picked for this year, I think, was apropos for his anniversary and everything else going on. So I think this is a good one for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that next year at this time, well, shoot, not even next year, in about 2 months, I'll have a baby in the house in addition to my toddler. So we'll,
Yeah.
as we were just talking about before we hit record, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we will make it work. We'll still be here.
Oh yeah, we'll still
Yeah.
be here. We'll still be here. But glad everything's going good. You don't have to tell me twice about being busy. I know it. That's why I had to move the podcast for every other week now. It's just like too much going on for to record that. So but still moving along. Um
Do you think the
and
holidays will help that or hurt that? Like the holidays could make it busier, or sometimes stuff slows down because it's the holidays. I'm hoping it will slow things down.
I hope so too. December is always meeting times for my point of work.
Sure.
So meetings, budgets, so all the fun stuff. All the fun stuff.
End of year reports. I love end of year
Right?
reports. Like right in the middle of the holidays, like end of year reports. Good times.
Yeah. End of year reports, holidays, uh angry people in court. So you can't get enough of the good stuff for the end of the year.
Right. Yeah. Not a lot of people are happy when they end up at the courthouse. Some marriages, some adoptions, but 98% of everybody is not happy to see us. Yes.
Some end of marriages.
Some end of marriages. Yes. It takes one piece of paper to get married, but it takes a whole stack of them to get divorced. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But that's another discussion for a whole nother time and a whole nother podcast, I'm sure. But today we are here to take a look back at the Undertaker's so far last match. As if people watching this on YouTube have not already guessed by Randy's choice of figure decoration today, we are taking a look back at the critically acclaimed Boneyard Match, the one and only Boneyard Match in WWE history, the one and only for The Undertaker. And it came to us at one of the most interesting WrestleManias of all time. The first time WWE tried a 2-day WrestleMania, and they have done so for the past couple years, this format. And they said, why not? We're going all out. We're doing a cinematic match. Haven't done one since basically what we took a look back at a couple months ago, the Boiler Room Brawl. They said, why not bring the Undertaker in for another cinematic match? Give us the Boneyard, you know, just go all out on this production. Basically, a miniature movie. Critically acclaimed. I haven't heard one single bad thing about this match. And like I just said, Undertaker's last match to date. So before we jump right into it, Randy, what do you want to talk a little bit about this match? Some maybe your memories of watching it firsthand, and just a little bit of your thoughts before we jump right in.
Well, I know last month we tied in the 3 very terrible matches with spookiness because it's Halloween season.
Loved it.
Great episode that it was. And this kind of is a similar thing because I think it was ironic. We're doing the Boneyard match on Thanksgiving Eve. I mean, isn't everybody's Thanksgiving table at the end of the day a boneyard? Right? Right? This is perfect.
Where's my drums?
Right. Well, and like you said too, we're not pairing it with anything. A lot of times we'll do 2 matches, sometimes 3 matches, but this match is the only Boneyard match, and we didn't. And it's 24 minutes long. Number one, it's pretty lengthy as far as Undertaker matches go, but also it's so critically acclaimed. We don't almost want to taint it with anything else. Like, how do you cover the Boneyard match and then go on to like Kennel from Hell or something weird like that? Like there's just no way you can do that. So that's why this thing's a standalone today.
Yeah, it stands on its own. And basically, the only thing you can really pair this with is like another Buried Alive match. But really, why taint it? Because all the other Buried Alive matches, besides, I would think the first one, Mankind's, it's not really has captured people as much. You have the tag team one, you have Stone Cold, you have Vince McMahon, you have Kane. But I think the Boneyard clocking in at almost 30 minutes. It's an episode all on its own, and it's Undertaker's last match to date. It's something that stands apart, being cinematic, being something so special that it deserves its own podcast episode for this specific match.
Have you seen it since then? I think I saw it live, obviously, that day. And I think it was so critically acclaimed. It was getting so much buzz on the internet. Like, I had to go back and watch it again, maybe that week, maybe a week or maybe the next weekend. And I don't know that since that time, since that encore presentation, a week maybe after WrestleMania 2020, I don't know if I've seen it since then. So this has kind of been a treat to relive it a couple years later. You see the memes online, you see the occasional clip you'll see, but I haven't seen it in its entirety probably since maybe a week or 2 after it actually happened.
Yeah, same. I watched it live, and I watched it, I think, a couple times within that week, and then I never really went back to it. But you've seen the memes, you see the clips, you see when he did the Survivor Series farewell and his Hall of Fame, they add those clips into it.
Sure.
But basically, I've not sat down and rewatched this until today.
Right. So I wanted to see like if it would live up to the hype that we all felt in 2020. Like, oh man, that thing was excellent. Like sometimes it can live up to that, and sometimes it doesn't. So I just wanted to see if that recency bias, if that would still be there 2 years later.
Yeah, I agree. Take another look at it with fresh eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are on Peacock, season 36, episode 1 of WrestleMania 36, part 1. Both clocked in at 2 hours, 29 minutes, 29 seconds. And I'm ready to go. How about you?
Yeah, I usually run through the buildup. I almost forgot to go through the buildup of how we got here.
Okay.
So it's funny because I watched the montage on Peacock here earlier this week when I was preparing for this. And the montage is pretty good, but it leaves out, at least to my recollection, unless I blacked out for 30 seconds, but like it leaves out the entire Super Showdown, Saudi Arabia, the Undertaker comes in and wins I want to get it right, Tuwaiq Mountain Trophy Gauntlet match. So he wins that.
Oh,
right. So they skip over that entirely.
A stamp on his legacy.
Yeah.
I don't know how he could have even went to the Hall of Fame without acquiring that gauntlet trophy. I mean, that just set it over the top.
It should be listed on the back of all of his action figures, like hardcore title, world title, tag team title.
It is. I mean, it's on his shirts for career achievements.
There you go, right?
It should be on his action figures.
But they Rey Mysterio was supposed to be the last entrant into that, and AJ Styles is waiting in the ring, and then the OC, of course, beats down on Rey. Rey can't continue, and then the Undertaker answers the call out of nowhere and beats down the OC and comes out. And if I'm not mistaken, he does away with AJ Styles with a choke slam and doesn't even take his hat and coat off.
Nope.
Doesn't even take his hat and coat off. 1, 2, 3, and he wins this trophy that, if you've ever seen it, it looks like the Aggro Crag trophy from Nickelodeon Guts. If you watch that in the 90s, you know, like that's what it looks like. And I don't think the Undertaker ever touched it. I don't think he held it in the air. He just kind of choke slammed and pinned AJ Styles in his hat and coat and then left. I mean, that was kind of it. But
That's because AJ kept poking him. You know, you just keep poking him. Undertaker doesn't have time to take off his hat and coat then. You know, you're going to go right up to him. You're going to poke him. He's just going to choke slam you. Done.
Well, and then on Raw the next night, AJ kind of talks about that he's not to screw with him. And then he talks about how Undertaker's a shell of his old self. He's not the same Undertaker. So then the Undertaker responds by showing up at Elimination Chamber. And he costs AJ Styles another match, this time against Aleister Black, who's now Malachi Black in AEW. Costs him that match. So that's when AJ comes out on Raw again, and he starts talking about Michelle McCool, which really hadn't been done up until that point. You know, talking about her as, you know, Undertaker's wife. She's a gold digger. She's the reason Undertaker has to keep coming around, because he's got to keep the money coming into the household, because she's, I don't know, a Stepford wife or whatever they're trying to get at, you know. And then she, AJ starts calling him Mark Calloway, which again, until 2020, you didn't really see a lot of that on WWE TV, calling him Mark. And
even during his Badass era, I don't even think they called him Mark Calloway.
Right. And he ends up challenging him at WrestleMania because he's not worried about the Undertaker. This isn't the Undertaker from 10 years ago that he might have been a little worried about. This is a broken down old man. So he's fine with challenging him at WrestleMania. And then the Undertaker, in one of those famous Performance Center COVID Raws where there's nobody there, they have that contract signing where AJ signs it in the back, and then he gives it to the OC to take the contract out to the arena where Undertaker's in the ring. And it was kind of cool because it's only something you could do in the COVID era where there's nobody there. As Undertaker's in the ring in front of them, the lights go out, the lights go on, and he's actually now behind them in the entryway. And he beats up the OC, multiple time tag team champions. He beats him up by himself.
Sure.
So that takes care of the old man shell of himself, former self thing right there. And then he signs the contract, and we're off and running to the Boneyard match, which I don't think we knew exactly. It's like I remember William Regal and Chris Jericho had a Duchess of Queensberry match at Backlash 01. And we never knew what the hell that was going to be until we got there. And it's very similar. I don't think we knew what a Boneyard match was going to be until they
got made up on the fly on that one.
Yeah, well, I had read too that Triple H, like, they built that set and it took like 5 days to build. And it was originally just supposed to be one of the classic Undertaker promo segments in a graveyard. And like Triple H got out there and was like, this looks too good. Like, we have to do the match out here instead of in the ring. And if that's true, I'm so glad they made that call, because I don't think the Boneyard match would have went as well starting in the ring of an, you know, empty arena with nobody there. I don't think it would have went as well as it did playing out where it did, how it did.
Yeah, especially since I don't think they could have constructed a burial plot inside that Performance Center.
Right.
They had.
Yeah. And even if they were able to, and it's just that usual mound of dirt by the entryway, it's really no different than any other buried alive match that we've seen before. It wasn't any different. So this made it unique and gave them a chance to, you know, AJ Styles said they shot it like a movie. I mean, they shot things 3, 4, 5, 6 times from like different angles, you know, and it was very much like a real movie. So that's what kept them up all night long filming this thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I still remember the Undertaker promo, that him speaking in the back with the tombstone behind him breaking the character and going through everything he's going to do to AJ. That's master class Undertaker promo skills.
Yeah, it's the Phenom versus the Phenomenal one. That's
right.
Great. Put that on a shirt.
And with that, I think that's the best way to lead into starting where we're at. we're at the Phenom versus the Phenomenal One, the Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Boneyard Match, WrestleMania 36. Are you ready?
I am ready. Remote in hand.
Remote in hand. So we
Yes.
count it down. 3, 2, 1, play.
Boom. Black screen fading into the
I know, I was worried there. I was like, shit, am I gonna get another ad?
the broken, yeah. They filmed this. I think they started filming it at 8 p.m. and they didn't get done until 4:30 a.m. I mean, they got done right before dawn. I mean, this took them 8.5 hours to film because they did it like a movie.
Yeah.
And I think if you have the noise up right now, you see the hearse driving through the cemetery gates. It's the Graveyard Symphony, the Undertaker's classic themes playing right now. So you think it's going to be him in the car.
And you know, they always say that this is like Vince McMahon's idea come to life because Vince always wants his matches to feel like miniature movies, like you're immersed into the storyline and everything. So what they're doing here, it's like his ideas come to life. This is what he always envisioned.
Right.
The cinematography and just to be encapsulated in that story.
Of course, AJ Styles is in the casket in the back of the hearse. There's two unnamed druids opening the casket, and it changes to AJ Styles' theme, and he gets out and he's talking about how he's not so scared of the cemetery. This isn't so bad. And it reminds me of Kevin from Home Alone, where he's like, he decides not to hide under the bed. Like, I'm not scared of I got to defend my house. I'm not scared of these bad guys. And that's what AJ's trying to tell himself as he stands in a cemetery. But yeah, like you were talking about, to your point, Steven, I really think, I know you hope that Undertaker is not truly done. It's been a couple years now. He might be done. But if there's ever hope for him to do anything like this again, it'll have to be like this. And I would not be disappointed with that.
I'll take anything, whatever he's most comfortable with.
Right. I would love, I mean, this gives you the benefit of doing retakes and reshoots and stuff like that. But this was great. And here he is rolling into, I assume it's like a side entrance because it looks like a different gate than the hearse came through, but he's riding into Metallica's Now That We're Dead song, which is still on Peacock, by the way. I'm surprised they haven't.
They must have bought the rights to that.
Right. And I never appreciated till this rewatch, Steven, that like this whole thing starts in Saudi with him as in his hat and gloves and his coat and choke slamming AJ as the classic dead man, and it ends here and he's Mark Calloway. He's the American badass, you know, just a month later. That's kind of cool. I never really paid attention to that before.
Yeah. You get a mixture of both here.
You really do. AJ is asking him if Michelle McCool knows that he's out this late, the Undertaker, which is awesome. These guys have really good dialogue, impromptu dialogue, ad-libbing. I mean, it would be kind of awkward if they're just punching and grunting and nobody's talking, and they do a pretty good job of filling the gaps so it's not weird.
Yeah, the talking makes it too. Makes it more emotional.
Absolutely. I think he said he dug Taker's grave and he wants to see him buried in it. Of course, we know who's really going in that hole.
I mean, how many people have said that over the years?
Right.
Every buried alive match, you know, we've dug your grave, Undertaker.
Oh, Taker broke out the Allen there, responding to being called Mark all month. Now he calls him Allen. I love it. Oh, into the casket, which that casket has a bunch of scratches on it already. So that must be.
Yeah. So that's a used casket from like probably like 10 years ago from Undertaker's matches.
Got to be from the warehouse. Yep. If it's a used casket from a mortuary, they should get a refund because that's got.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, Taker finds a pipe in the ground here, just a little pipe that he's got in his fist. He's going to go for AJ's head, and he Goldbergs the limo window. Puts his forearm through it like Goldberg did on Nitro. And I think he really gets stitches here. I think he really hurts himself. Yeah.
He was still plucking glass out of his arm, I think, like a year later.
Oh my gosh. I just love, and Taker was perfect on that. He was just like, son of a bee. And he kind of like, you made me bleed my own blood, and now I'm pissed. Oh, AJ almost through the windshield. He spiders it out. Reminds me of that Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell, where at the beginning it's just Taker's a house of fire, and you're like, how is this guy going to survive this match?
Once again, Undertaker doing so well with the littler wrestlers.
Oh, of course. Yep. I think that's who he works the best with. I love the TX on the back of his leather vest there. I mean, so much detail. Really cool.
Yeah.
And it's on the back of the figure. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, it should be.
Right.
Undertaker sitting on the edge of the hearse with his feet dangling like a little kid.
Right. Just like he's having the best time.
He's like dangling their feet.
Just another day at the office. Oh, dirt in his face. AJ.
Oh, cheap tactic.
Right. I didn't know if I noticed that at first, the first time through. Was that a groin kick that I saw?
Yeah, that was a groin kick.
A groin kick and a dirt in the face to turn the tides here for AJ Styles.
Cheap heel tactics.
Yes.
They may be cheap, but they always work.
It's going to try to toss Taker in the hole here. And they kind of try that teeter-totter. Going to keep punching you and hope that you fall over into the hole, but Undertaker never does.
Nope. He got great balance. I mean, I don't know if I could have kept that up.
There we go. He turned the tide now. Best pure striker in the game. You don't want to go punch for punch with the Undertaker.
That's right. Where's Michael Cole in commentary when you need
right.
him?
And now Taker hits him with one good right hand, and now AJ falls in the hole. So it looks like this is going to be a short match. This is going to be like John Cena at WrestleMania 34.
Uh-oh.
But here comes the OC. Taker with the cocky spit as he approaches the OC. And then the OC, so there's like this barn, this random, I don't know, is it a tool shed, a barn in this middle of the cemetery? But there's six unknown druids here on top of the OC. So there's eight guys here. I really thought Kane or Aleister Black were going to come out at the time and kind of even things up for Undertaker. But as usual, Steven, as we both know, he's on his own.
Oh, of course. I think the plan was to have Aleister Black come and help him.
Give him a nice rub, as the young guy, but Undertaker instead just kind of like looks him over, and it's like a kung fu movie. He's just like, all right, I'll take you all on, And he says, let's do it, like he's Steven Seagal, and he just takes them all out. Or like he's Wyatt Earp at the OK Corral, just kicks, punches, destroying everybody. The Druids didn't put up much of a fight. The OC's fighting back here with some punches, at least. They know what they're doing. And if I'm not mistaken, the OC after this match, this is their swan song. They're gone here until last month, right? October of 2022.
Well, as we'll see, they were technically killed in this match, so
yeah, right.
It is kind of a good swan song to have.
Yes.
I mean, once you get tossed off like a 20-foot story building, I don't know if there's any coming back from that.
Yes. Taker's going to pick up the shovel. Maybe this is why the Elite 85 figure comes with a shovel, but he's going to use this shovel handle on Machine Gun Carl Anderson and now on Luke Gallows. Oh, and then AJ Styles with a tombstone on the Undertaker. And I don't mean the pile driver. I mean, he hits him in the back with a literal freaking tombstone.
It's like she just picks that up from some random grave.
Right. Like, who throws a tombstone? I mean, really. But he got him with it. I was going to say, this reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen Step Brothers with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, but like they have a scene in Step Brothers where they are fighting each other in the backyard. And essentially one of them has dug a grave and they want to bury the other one alive in the backyard because they're so sick of them in their life. And I'm like, am I watching Step Brothers right now?
Probably.
AJ Styles says, you made me break my finger. And I read that he legit did break his finger in this match. So that's something that he, Taker has that torn forearm. He had to get stitches for, and AJ.
Everybody gets injured in this match.
Yeah, and then AJ has that legit broken finger. He's going to get a few weeks off to sell his death after this match, so he'll be all right.
Okay, well, at least that's better than Big Boss Man who just shows up the next day.
Right.
Like, we'll just hang a man, but don't worry, he's alive. He'll show up the next day.
Right.
Vince got to him on time. He unhooked him just in a matter of time before he lost all consciousness.
Oh, AJ spears, after hitting him with the literal tombstone, AJ spears the Undertaker through this barn.
And we got a whole, like, conservatory in here.
Right. AJ's bringing the heavy artillery today. I do find it funny that he kept saying throughout this match when he had control, he would say, just retire, old man, just retire. And little did we know he was going to. After this match, he was going to.
You're building that sympathy for the Undertaker.
Yeah, I can hear like that sad violin in the background or whatever, that's cello or whatever it is. Taker looks like he's got an earring in his right ear, but it might be dirt. I think it might be dirt, but it definitely looks like an earring. And then the middle finger. Nice.
Oh, of course. Like, you really think like that he's gonna be down for the count. It's over.
Right. Very Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 26, defiant until the bitter end.
Yeah.
Ooh. Put the women and children to bed after AJ calls him a broken down old bee. Oh, now AJ's got a shovel. Maybe this is the reason the Elite 85 comes with a shovel. Don't talk about it, be about it. AJ's talking about how he's going to hit him with the shovel and bury him. Just do it. Ding. He does hit at Taker, and Taker falls into the hole. Looks like it's AJ's to win right now.
That's right. Oh, and that shovel head just missed him.
Yeah, when he fell into the hole, the shovel head down there, yeah. Well, since they broke all the damn shovels, I guess he's going to have to use that crane or that excavator to get the dirt in the hole.
Well, let's see if he can maneuver this better than Vince could.
Well, yeah, he's been taking lessons apparently from Cowboy Brock because AJ Styles knows how to turn it on and use it right away.
Oh my God.
Look at that. No problem. Starts it up. Dirt's already in the excavator. He's just got to dump it on him. And then the bright lights go off. And there's that famous meme where the Undertaker's standing behind AJ Styles. And AJ is super confused because he was just in the hole. How the hell did he get there?
Glad they worked in the supernatural elements. So
Right.
you get both views of the Undertaker here.
Right. I love that meme though. I've seen it with like your morning coffee sneaking up on you, like you have to go to the bathroom. I've seen you know, you enjoying your Sunday and then Monday coming from behind.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that meme. Okay, so now AJ's climbing to the roof of this barn, conservatory, tool shed to get away from the Undertaker. He's scared now. He's like, how the hell did he get out of the hole?
He's not broken down and old anymore.
No, all AJ keeps saying is how. Oh, and Taker with the pain pyro. He raises his hands in the air and pyro goes off to stop AJ Styles from escaping the roof. Oh, here comes the OC again to even things up. I think this is, you're right, Steven. I think this is where Undertaker's essentially going to murder Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
It reminds me of WrestleMania 19. There he goes. He threw him off the roof. WrestleMania 19 on GameCube. If you ever played that game, it would be like,
It's my favorite where you have to throw people off into the water.
yes, throw 8 construction workers off this roof and then move on to the next level. I'm like, wait a minute, kill them? And he just tombstone machine gun on the roof here, machine gun Carl Anderson. So we're down to AJ now.
Literally tombstoning him on like a tin roof. That must have hurt.
Right. Taker's begging for more and no selling. He goozles him for the choke slam, and we are going to choke slam AJ Styles off the roof and through some plywood down below.
Harken back to mankind.
Boom. I love the dramatic score.
At this time, I think watching it live, I was like, yeah, Undertaker's gonna win this.
Right. Like he is firmly in control at this point.
Mm-hmm. Luke Gallows is dead behind him.
Taker's asking AJ Styles, what's my name? How old am I? Taunting him. Or maybe he's giving him a CTE test. Maybe he's not taunting him. He actually wants to know, like,
who is the president of the United States?
Right. How many fingers am I holding up? What's my wife's name? I wonder what happened to this gear. It's probably the archives, right? Probably the warehouse.
Sure.
His last ever gear.
He gives everything to the archives, so I'm guessing it's in there.
Yeah, he showed in that Hidden Treasures show. He has little value of, you know, that the Phantom mask was in a random Rubbermaid container in a storage unit. Like, what? Yeah, AJ's quite done. He's gonna pick him up like a loaf of bread, and he's just gonna like he's hauling, like he's just carrying a 2x4 to the work site, and he's just talking to AJ along the way about how he's not gonna get away and he's gonna bury him alive.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna last 30 years like I did.
No, don't bury me. As AJ was just trying to bury Undertaker like 10 minutes prior. Oh, you know what? Don't bury me.
I love when the heels call timeout in the ring. Timeout. I love that.
He's sorry though. You know, at least he's sorry.
Right. He's sorry he got beat up by the Undertaker. And I love Taker's gonna appear to take sympathy on him. He's going to give him a hug and tell him that he fought his ass off. He can appreciate that.
I love how like there's electricity in this cemetery here. Like they can light lights and have barns, have a full house there. It's like, wow.
I did notice, not to nitpick, but I did notice when the OC came out the first time to beat on Undertaker, I could see some brake lights off in the distance on like a distant road, like traffic is going on. You know, I could see like brake lights. I've never noticed that before.
Well, that's cool. That's a cool touch. It means it's on like some kind of highway.
Right. I would love to find out. I'm the kind of nerd that would love to find out where this was filmed, and I would totally go there. Even if it's just a field now, I would totally go there. That's my game. That's my speed. Taker acts like he's going to leave him alone. Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. I'm bearing you.
Big boot. AJ falls in the hole. And now the Undertaker is going to try his hand here at running the excavator like Cowboy Brock. That shovel head is still in there. Good for them.
Yeah. Well, at least that just shows you that nobody went in there and grabbed it out.
Right. Or they were at least interested in continuity and threw it in there after he was in there. I don't know. And I suppose that as he dumps this excavator full of dirt in the hole, it is enough to win the match, but he does not fill the grave to the brim. So maybe that's the reason that AJ doesn't die and we see him again in a month. But he does successfully dump it on him for the win with AJ's hand sticking out of the dirt.
Thank you, Michael Hayes.
Right. Oh yeah, and Taker walks by the stone and takes the moss off to expose AJ Styles' name is on the stone all along, not Mark Calloway.
Yep. That means Undertaker took the time to go to this place beforehand, put that gravestone there, and put a cover with moss, and like he'll never know.
And the Graveyard Symphony is playing right now, like old school Undertaker, until he starts the bike up.
Well, it had to signify the end of the match somehow.
Right. Yes. Like he won.
Yeah, he won.
And then when he raises that fist, that's when we get Metallica again. And the really cool purple TX symbol on the, I don't know what the hell we're calling it, the barn.
Yeah, I would say it's a barn.
Taker hits the road, man. The hearse is still there with the casket and Taker's off.
That's it. That ends WrestleMania Day 1. He main events another WrestleMania.
The first ever night one, like you said earlier, it's the very first ever night one.
The very first ever WrestleMania Night 1. Undertaker, not only a part of this new style WrestleMania, but he also headlines this new style WrestleMania. So, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I still loved it. I still thought it was great. Nothing changed for me over the last 2 years watching that. Noticed some different things like those brake lights that I saw, and the dirt. AJ throwing the dirt in his face. I don't know that I noticed that in 2020, but so there's a couple little things that you pick up on watching it again for the second or third or fourth time, whatever this is for me. But definitely still overall amazing. I don't. My opinion isn't changed on that. Not at all. Taker would, I think they showed in this WrestleMania, I scrubbed through the whole night one just to see if there was anything else Taker. They did show a preview for the Last Ride series that was going to come out after WrestleMania. And so they did show that. And then in that Last Ride, of course, he announces that thinks that he's done and he's satisfied with that Boneyard match as his last match. And then as we know, in 2022, he goes on to the Hall of Fame as he should. And then AJ had 2-3 weeks off. He comes back to win a Money in the Bank qualifier. He goes to Money in the Bank in 2020 in May. That's like the one at Titan Tower that they had during the pandemic.
That was a good one.
It was fun. It was fun. I'm glad they did it while they could before they got back in front of crowds, So that was fun. And he had an Undertaker experience in that match.
Yes.
Where he opens the door, I think, and it's like an Undertaker type room with his music playing. And I think there's a coffin in there.
Yeah, there's a coffin, a big picture of the Undertaker. I think there's an urn, and it's like all purple lighting. It's like an Undertaker style room inside McMahon's office. And I'm like, if anybody would have a superstar centered room, it would be Undertaker for Vince.
Right. Or I would think that would be something at your house.
Oh, yeah, give it time.
But and then AJ goes from that Money in the Bank moment to having that tag team with Omos and winning the tag team titles at WrestleMania the next year. And then eventually they kind of dissipate and he has that feud with him. And he's still, as we know, AJ Styles is still off and running to this day. But good. Without Shawn Michaels being available, without Triple H being available, like you and I had said, he works better with those smaller guys. I think AJ Styles was the next best thing that was currently actually realistically available, and I think it went really well.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. And at your point, nothing's changed for me. It's just as I enjoyed it just as much as I did 2.5 years ago. I think it went a little quicker this time around for me.
Yeah.
And last, I think watching it live, it felt longer. Maybe because you're just in the moment. It feels longer watching it live. But it felt shorter here. But just as good as I remembered. I can see why it was so critically acclaimed. You never feel bored watching this. Like you're always wondering what they're gonna say next, what they're gonna do next. The different camera angles, the different types of music, the emotion. You really are drawn into this, and I think that's the best one they ever put on with the cinematic value.
Yeah, I there's been times where I've watched sporting events, like my team's won the Super Bowl or my college has won like a college bowl game, and you're watching it, and like you said, you're watching it live and in real time, and you're in the moment and you're chewing your nails. You don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
You're freaking out a little bit, and then you tape it, and of course your team wins, and then maybe a month later, a couple weeks later, you go to watch it again. It's still very good, but now you don't have that same tension that you had because you know who wins this time. So you're not freaking out as hard, but you can still appreciate how damn good it is.
I agree.
I took some notes on it. I don't know if there's anything groundbreaking in here, but I found out I don't have Instagram, so I don't know. But Johnny Gargano apparently posted on his Instagram that he, his wife Candice LeRae, and then Tommaso Ciampa all got to witness the Boneyard match in person, and even possibly were used as extras. I don't know who that would, other than the Druids, maybe Ciampa and Gargano were Druids, but they had asked Triple H, since everybody's in that Florida area, that Orlando area at the time, that he had asked Triple H if they could go be a part of it or watch it, and Triple H said okay. So he did post on there that it was pretty cool to watch that in person. So I didn't know that until I kind of did some digging for that. Like I said, started filming at 8 p.m., finished at 4:30 a.m. During filming, I think during the last ride, we found out that during filming, Taker received a call from his niece that his brother had passed away. Timothy had passed away of a heart attack. So Taker found it hard to finish the match around graves and cemeteries and coffins, knowing that his brother was legitimately just passed away. But as we know, Undertaker for 30 years always pushes through. So I thought that was interesting. I think I remember that from last ride, but kind of forgot about it. Just an amazing performance when you put on all the real life stuff that he was going through, and he had to like compartmentalize and finish this. And I think he did a really good job. He did retire in the Last Ride documentary, at least for now. And he was the first superstar to wrestle in and main event in, WrestleManias in 4 different decades, from WrestleMania 13 to 24, 26, and 36. So he's done it in 4 different decades, which is kind of crazy. And he's got 25 WrestleMania wins, which I assume is the most of anybody.
Yeah.
And he's got 4 that are as, Mark Calloway, American Badass biker guy.
It's crazy, right?
25 wins. I hope nobody, unfortunately, we're not going to get the streak, but I hope nobody touches 25 wins. We'll see.
I doubt it.
I hope
Nobody on that roster is going to hang around for at least 25 more years.
It'd be 25 years and you'd have to be undefeated like the Undertaker to get 25. So you have to be around, if you're an average Joe that loses, every couple years, you're going to have to be around 35, 40 years. It'd be really tough to do.
Yeah. And I believe everybody in that roster, I don't know offhand, but I think everybody's at least lost at least once.
Sure.
But yeah, so you have to rack up at least 20 plus more wins for whoever the latest guy, let's say someone like Roman Reigns or Rollins.
Or Orton, yeah.
Who's been there at least 10 years. You have to rank up at least 20 more wins. It's something that I don't see them going forward with.
Right. I hope not. No. Give us something that nobody else has, because that we couldn't have the streak. Toys, we always talk about toys. No better toy to represent this match than Elite 85. I know AJ has a version too, right? Yeah. AJ has that WrestleMania 38 Elite that is him in the jeans with the OC shirt on that's red, and he also comes with a shovel.
Yes. Can't get enough shovels. I mean, come on. They already have the mold. Just give it to them.
Yes. I remember in high school when Jacks had their license, my friends and I would always giggle at, I forget what it is. I should look it up, but it was Kane. And I'm not kidding. The packaging said with Kane with bloody shovel. Like that was a feature.
Yeah.
It was not just a shovel, by God. It was a bloody shovel. Kane with bloody shovel. Yes. Amazing.
It is.
I would we talk about the funeral parlor play set at some point, like a Mattel Creations type thing. They should do a Boneyard Match one. I would buy the shit out of that too.
Oh, I would too.
Yes. And I'd have to follow up and find the AJ for this, but I would do that with Lee. Right.
Yeah, you have to get the AJ.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any other. I don't think there's any other.
Well, they re-released the Boneyard Taker in the Top Pick series last year. They have the Wrecked Motorcycle with an Undertaker loosely based on the Boneyard. Give him, without the bandana, without the actual vest and everything, just loosely based Undertaker. And of course, you got that Boneyard Snowman Undertaker holiday ornament.
Yes, which I'll be putting on my tree this weekend. Yes.
And so I think that's mostly it of like little merchandise items. You got plaques, you got shirts, for stuff to commemorate this. But in terms of like figures or trinkets, that's basically it. You got the Wrecking Motorcycle with the Undertaker, the Top Picks, the Elite, the Snowman, and of course the WrestleMania 38 AJ to complement the Undertaker. So
I knew, as we said before we hit record, I knew when they announced Elite 85 Boneyard Taker, I knew I was going to put him on this Wrecking Cycle.
You need to. It's a Mattel WWE vehicle. It has to complement the Undertaker figure.
And at first it was funny because at first everywhere I went, I can only find Drew in the red motorcycle. I'm like, no, it has to be black. And I was panicking looking for this thing, and I finally found it, and I think my wife found it. I told her to buy it. Little did I know it would literally be everywhere. I mean, shortly. I mean, it's still out there. Yes. But yeah, so, and then I ended up selling the Undertaker that comes with the Wreck and Slam cycle. I think he just has a generic TX shirt on. And I think I sold him for $10 on eBay just to get like a little coupon off my Elite 85. But here they are, and they sit in my Detolf loud and proud. And he got a special pass today to move out for the show because the show.
I would hope he did.
So, Thanksgiving Eve tradition, Steven. Yes. I was gonna pop in a couple of questions.
Shoot.
And I'll answer them first because I'm putting you on the spot. So I'll go first, give you some time.
Oh boy.
Most thankful. Now we're all very thankful for family, friends,
of course,
jobs, roof over our head, the obvious stuff, food. Heat. So many people in this
Heat.
world have right. Well, where I'm at anyway. Yes, Heat. We love Heat, but so many people have less. So I'm very thankful for the obvious things in life. But this is a wrestling podcast, a wrestling figure podcast. So most thankful thing that you are in wrestling, not toys. Most thankful thing you are, the thing you're the most thankful for in wrestling in 2022. And I would say I probably got two things. Number one, Taker's Hall of Fame speech being as awesome as it was earlier this spring in 2022. It's probably my most thankful thing in wrestling. Other part of it is I don't know that I went to any live events in wrestling other than I'm very thankful I got to go with my buddies to Dynamite. Dynamite came to Minneapolis in August. It was called Quake by the Lake. And it was cool just to be able to go to Dynamite and Rampage and hang out with my buddies, in person at a live wrestling show again. So that was fun. So those are probably the two things I'm the most thankful for in wrestling in 2022 is Taker's Hall of Fame speech and going to that Dynamite and being able to hang out with my buddies. How about you?
I would say Undertaker's Hall of Fame speech. Just to be able to witness it and be alive to
Right.
see him go into the Hall of Fame, have him be alive to go into the Hall of Fame, because so many people don't get the luxury to be alive and go into the Hall of Fame and give a speech. As we saw, a couple people in his class weren't, and Macho Man Randy Savage wasn't. So to have him stay up there, give a speech, tie up loose ends for things, that's something to be thankful for, especially for an Undertaker fan.
Yeah, and for him to do something completely revolutionary and different. I mean, we've seen a lot of Hall of Fame speeches over 30 years now, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them have been very good. I loved like Roddy Piper's was great. I mean, there's been a lot of good ones, but nothing that was completely off the wall and different than the Undertaker's wearing that Madonna mic, giving a TED talk, and telling stories about his career and thanking people along the way, but also giving people life advice while doing so, and then tying it to his career. I mean, that was really, really well done. Coming from a guy that we never doubted he was smart enough to do it. Because I feel like I knew that he was smart enough when you have a 30-year career like he's had in this industry, you're a pretty smart guy.
Oh yeah.
I never knew because he stuck so hard to his character. I never knew that he was that articulate or eloquent enough to do something like that or wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And so to watch him come out and just knock it out of the park, you're kind of, for me anyway, being here since age 10, it was kind of like, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. So I've been here since day one, literally scared of him on day one, but I was here.
Mm-hmm.
So other question, I think this is the one you'll probably get into even more. Now we'll move on to toys. What are you most thankful for in the world of toys and figures in 2022? For me, I think it was probably, I bought a lot of stuff off eBay. I'm just looking at my details now.
My Stephanie McMahon figure, isn't it?
No, wait, no, not the Stephanie McMahon Elite 94. I never found her in the store, by the way. What a tragedy. I sold out and got her from ringside, but she's here. But I know you got me into the Bendums, so I sold out and got all the Bendums once you sent me the first one. Got a pretty cool Survivor Series that mug, and I'm wearing the Survivor Series 90 pin. Got a lot of cool Undertaker things this year. Went all over town. I went to 11 different Walmarts on a Saturday to find the Ruthless Aggression Brock Lesnar to be able to get the unified undisputed championship for my big evil Undertaker. So I had a lot of cool hunts this year in 2022. But I think what I'm the most thankful for is probably the Superstars line Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
That good. But number two, I never thought in a million years, I never thought that this that hunt for that figure would be that easy. I thought it's almost December. I thought I'd be looking for it still. Like I think Alex didn't Dorio text us the other day saying
Yes.
his pre-order is scheduled for 12/22. Meanwhile, we've had it since the summer.
And not only that, I walked into my Walmart today and I was greeted with like a peg tenfold of him.
Oh, were you really?
I'm like, seriously? Seriously?
Did you buy any more or no? Because
I
they're
did
fun.
not buy any more.
Sure.
I did not buy any more. They were all punched. The box is not that great, but still, I saw them in person. I was
Right.
like, well, now I can check off that list that I saw it in person because I like to see at least every Undertaker in person.
In the wild. Yeah.
Yeah, you say, okay, so I know that it officially has come out to the masses, and I have seen it. Yeah, so that was funny to see today that the pre-order gets pushed back for people, and then I walk into one that's like there's like a whole peg full of them. I'm like, there you go.
I thought for sure it would go the other way. I thought Stephanie McMahon would be easy. Or I thought, yeah, Stephanie McMahon would be easy to find. Peg warmer. Nobody cares about her but me. And then I thought the Superstars Undertaker would be something I'd be running with my tongue hanging out until New Year's trying to find. And it was actually the opposite. So I'm so thankful that that went easier because the Undertaker thing, way more important, filling that DTOF up. And I'm counting on certainly if I see the Raw 30th anniversary as we get closer to January, I will let you and Alex know. And I hope you guys let me know. Like, it's in stores, man. Go, go, go.
Yes, 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 yes. Can't wait for that.
Yes. So what about you? What's your most thankful
Oh,
figure or toy hunt of 2022? What are you most thankful for in that regard?
oh my gosh. Well, I am thankful for you for finding me it 3 months in advance
Sure. Yes.
for the Superstars Undertaker. I'm thankful for them showing us that Raw 30th anniversary. Finally, a nice mid 90s gray Undertaker. So that's always something to look forward to. And I don't know. I mean, I'm thankful for anytime we get Undertaker figures. Especially since he is no longer an active performer,
Right.
and they tend to focus on people that are on TV weekly. It's something to be thankful whenever you get Undertaker figures in the line, like the greatest hits
Greatest hits.
Undertaker. The Mean Marcalis was totally out of left field, and just the ability of keeping him in the top picks line, so it keeps him on the pegs. Just stuff to be thankful for, to hunt for, to buy
Right.
and add to that collection. So that's just an overall encompassing thing, that Undertaker figures still being made, still being put on the pegs, and still having a high demand from stores that not only do they want the Undertaker, but you have Walmart wanting an exclusive Undertaker from Superstars, or Target wanting an exclusive set that includes the Undertaker. So it's not something that, oh, it's like just put him out there and see if he sells. Well, no, you have stores actually wanting exclusives of him because they know he's going to sell, and they know that there's going to be a demand.
That's a good point. I mean, he hasn't been done very long, and I know he's got a unique 30-year career, but there's a lot of big name superstars out there that don't get this kind of play, like Andre the Giant, or, Ravishing Rick Rude, or the Big Boss Man. I mean, they might get one or two every 5 years. That's it.
Sometimes it's something that they're not even going to be in stores. Like Rick Rude's going to be on the next installment on the Mattel Creations thing.
Sure.
And Andre is in a basic line that may not even come to stores. You never know how those basics work out.
Mhm.
But you have Undertaker, they have him in elite lines, they have him in legends lines, they have him in superstars lines, and they have him in store exclusive lines. So he's all around the place that you're gonna find him somehow.
Absolutely. And hoping for more. Right now, the last one I have on that list is that Raw 30th anniversary, which we all have pre-orders for, but you never know. That's just for insurance. We hope to find it in the store if it's gonna.
Oh, we'll probably find it in the store before the pre-order ships. No doubt about Target.
Right. They're gonna put if they're gonna somehow put that thing on shelves. I don't know how they're gonna box it, but if they're gonna put that thing on shelves, I hope we find it sooner than the pre-order. But at least we have the pre-order as insurance.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm out of ideas. I don't have one, but there's always, my wife always laughs and says,
We need a Hall of Fame Undertaker.
"Ooh, I would love that." I would love a Hall of Fame Undertaker for sure.
Yeah, that's what we need. There's plenty more Undertakers to be made. There plenty is. We need so much more. We need a good 2000 mid 2000s Undertaker. We need a good American Badass debut Undertaker. We need still a good 98 Undertaker that's not like the Ultimate with like that horrible head hair and everything. So we still need good reincarnations of him.
Undertaker in his pajamas at No Way Out
Yes.
2001. I mean, I would buy
Pajama
the hell out of that.
Undertaker, Godfather Pants
Right.
Undertaker.
Yes.
Uh, you got so many of them to make.
Plenty of adventures to come. I'm sure we'll be talking about them in at the end of 2023 on this episode. The Thanksgiving night tradition. We'll be talking about what we're thankful for.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Keep up the tradition.
And what's on tap for next month? It is Last Man Standing, right?
It is Last Man Standing with Batista and what else is there? The Great Khali one, right?
Does he have one with Kali? Okay. So there's two. All right.
Yeah,
and Undertaker Christmas sweater time?
Undertaker Christmas sweater.
As it was last year. I'm ready.
It was. Got to keep up that tradition.
Of course. Yes.
So looking forward to that. Looking forward to December edition as we break out Undertaker's Last Man Standing matches. Make sure there's more than two. I off the top of my head, I can't think of more than two. I think it's just the Batista and Great Khali, but I will double check on that.
We will check our sources and get back to you. Yes.
Yes, we'll check our sources. We will bring our best Undertaker Christmas sweaters and make sure to join us for another installment of Undertaker's best gimmick matches.
I can't wait. My sweater lights up, remember? I got to change the batteries. I'm ready.
Yes. Your sweater lights up, and I'm going to try and get the newest one.
Yes, the one. That's a pretty cool design. I agree with Dorio. It does kind of look pink and not purple, but the design is pretty awesome.
I had that pink and black attack.
You got right.
Okay, well, any parting words for the Boneyard match for 2022 Undertaker figures? Anything else in your wheelhouse before we sign off here?
No, sir. That Boneyard match is if he comes back, like we had talked about earlier, if he's able to do another cinematic match, I wouldn't be negative on it. But this is a pretty tough one to beat for your swan song for your last match. I know it wasn't in front of fans. You didn't get that portion of it, that's one drawback, but working with somebody that's a generational talent like AJ Styles and having the match that they had out of nothing, like they just formulated this this rivalry in Saudi over the aggro crag, and then a month later they have this amazing match that people were buzzing about, and it kind of transcends wrestling. Like, this is a pretty if the Undertaker gets offered something else, he's got to really think about, like, is this gonna ruin what I already have?
You're only as good as what the last one is on.
You read a book, you remember a book by the last chapter. And this is a pretty damn good chapter we just covered today.
That's right. And that's my final words. This is a great match to hang his hat on.
Or his bandana, yes. Depending which Undertaker we're talking about.
Depends on Undertaker he's feeling that day.
Right, yeah.
But that's all I have to say about that. Make sure to follow Randy on Twitter at Pokey's Little Dog. Follow me on Twitter at Collect Up Dead, on Instagram at Collecting Dead Man. And you've made it this far into the YouTube video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And also to follow and subscribe to my podcast as well. Randy, I thank you so much for joining me here monthly. You have not tapped out yet, and I give you so much credit for not doing so.
I will be here, sir. Just as long as you'll have me, I will be here. Even with a screaming baby, I will be here.
Well, that's great to hear, as we'll be here next time, same Taker time, same Taker channel, as we keep on rolling, baby. And it's going to be a long road ahead that will probably be here for the Thanksgiving tradition, not only next year, but years to come. So thank you as always, Randy.
Thank you.